Alright, testing, boopity boop 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 boop. Contact. It is Fifi Quest. Here we are, everybody. It's me, Fifi Dosch, doing the podcast where I talk about my transition week by week, mentally, biologically, spiritually, recreationally, and I fill in the other stuff with goofing off. That's what you tuned into. Good to be back. Good to see you and talk to you virtually. You are probably right now in your car, driving to nowhere, off into an endless horizon, to the COVID-free lands, and there aren't any. Everybody, even in Italy, they've got plastic shields up, which is probably difficult for them because they talk with their hands, so they're always just, got hands full of, I'm gonna say gabagool. That sounds racist. Go with it anyway. And all the, sauce is splattering all over the dividing walls. In Spain, you have to be socially distant during running of the bulls, which will help with trampling. And in Russia, you just die. You just go out and die. That's what they do. And in Australia, everyone's fine because it's a giant country where, no one lives there because it's full of spiders that shoot their dick in your eyes and lay eggs in your brain. That doesn't make sense. But who am I to judge what gender spiders can do? I, least of all, ought to have a problem with that. I love how everybody's plan, and I've felt this same way too. Everyone's like, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna move away because I'm tired of this. Where you going? Where you going, bro? I'm gonna move to Pocatello. They got COVID there too, buddy. They got it there too. Go to Watertown, South Dakota. You'll have to wear a mask at the Menards. You know what though? Maybe you won't. Because of the governor of my great home state of South Dakota, Kristi Noem. Which, by the way, the next time I see that meme online where people are like, well, all the best countries who have handled COVID are run by women, and all the worst ones are run by men. I wonder what the problem is. I need you to introduce you to Governor Kristi Noem of South Dakota, because she is a dingbat of the highest order. Hasn't done shit. COVID gets around in South Dakota, because who lives in South Dakota? Old people. Because the young people moved away to fancier places, like Omaha, or Denver. You got a lot of Denver. A lot of people moved to Denver. And you know what? Omaha doesn't deserve to be treated in such a way. Omaha is a cooler place than you think. At least it was. When I lived there for 2 years right after high school. And this was in the mid-2000s. Yeah, Zoomers, you were, probably all filling your diapers around then. And, just filling your diapers while the Twin Towers fell down. Well, I was in Omaha as an adult. And this is the time when emo was really popular, and emo all started in Omaha. So Omaha had a really happening music scene at the time, and I bet it still does. I got no reason to back that up. I hope it still does. They still had good venues. Yeah! Remember when I was in college, Connor Oberst of the band Bright Eyes? I got a free ticket to see them my first week living in Omaha. And Bright Eyes, if you don't know, is the most emo band in the world. And it's like, Connor Oberst is essentially a whiny trust fund kid. And literally between every song, he would just get up and all of his pouty little songs, he'd get up and to the sound text he would go, can I get a little more of me in the monitor? Can I get a little more of me in the monitor? So all through the time when I lived there, that was a little running joke. Whenever anyone was being, a self-indulgent, whiny, egotistical ass, you just go, can I get a little more of me in the monitor? So you can use that. Feel free to just take other people's inside jokes from other, presidents and eras and just interject them into things. Nothing, things don't have to mean things if you don't wanna. You know what they do? They do. I don't like that kind of thinking. I don't like irony for irony's sake. I feel like things for a while, like at the tail end of Obama times, things got too ironic. I feel like everyone was just untethered and willy-nilly, and it's like, what are we even being ironic at anymore? I didn't like it, but it doesn't matter anymore, does it? No. It's ancient goddamn history, isn't it? Tiger King was ancient history for Christ. That was a long time ago. Obama, that was like 7 years ago now. Jeez. Jeez Louise. Crazy times. I think that was my favorite time culturally, like the years of like 2009 to 2013. In terms of like what was going on in the culture and the art was coming out, I feel like that was a sweet spot. That was a sweet spot because like let me backtrack this a little bit. Sometimes I feel really nostalgic. Like if you're young you might not get this, but I feel really nostalgic for like the rampant nastiness of the late 90s sometimes. Like, the late 90s was a grand time to be a suburban kid because there was all this, like, Eminem came out, South Park came out, so much just gnarly stuff was coming out that, like, as a kid it was like contraband because you're like, oh my god, there's this thing, you can, Ryan's dad let him record South Park on a VHS and we're going to sneak out and watch it and they're going to say swears and stuff. And the internet kind of barely didn't hardly exist, so there was all this like sneaky stuff that if you like lived in a place that was culturally dead like I did, you could sneak off into the woods or someone's house when their parents were away and listen to like forbidden fruit. And like, wow, it was exciting. And like, I don't even know what phases young people anymore, but like, God, that was fun. And we just had all this like taboo, forbidden laughter that was so exciting. And like, granted, it was utterly heartless. I mean, I wouldn't feel a warm feeling for another 15 years, but my God, did we laugh a lot. And then I feel like in the 2000s, I feel like a lot of art was either very like rah rah go America, or it was like very very reactionary towards George W. Bush, which was very cool. Again, like if you were my age where I grew up, it was very cool for a while, but even then like it kind of ran thin to me. And also I think like so much of that stuff I only think was cool because like, again, I grew up kinda, not pre-internet, but definitely pre-internet as it is, and you still have to, like, look for things on the internet, and to hear, like, alternative thinking growing up in South Dakota when it didn't just float by you in your phone all the time was exciting, but even then it wore a little thin. But, like, 2009 to 2013 in music and comedy and films, I feel like it took all the best aspects of all those previous decades and it all just congealed into one really cool, like, 4 years, I think. And now, I'm not even going to say what I think about now, because I want to keep it positive and just talk about things I like. That's what I'm about on here. I've had it up to here with nihilism. I've had it up to here, okay? I don't want to hear it anymore. Tired of people thinking like, oh, we're never going to recover from COVID, and this is going to change everything terribly. You know what we are great at as a people, Americans especially, is forgetting about shit and learning nothing. Do I think we'll get back to normal? You bet your ass I do. Do I believe we'll even reflect on it a little? No! And I wouldn't have it any other way. Uh, never underestimate America's ability to forget inconvenient things and not give a fuck. But yeah, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. I'll tell you what though, I had an idea today. You know what I genuinely think what they ought to do is just come out and say, hey guys, cause like again, it's so like, are we open, are we not, everything's closed, but like no one's wearing a mask at the beach, and it's like, what, like, are we doing this or are we not? Can I be around people? Like, are there, what are we even doing here? I honestly think they should just go, hey everybody, on October 1st, there's gonna be a vaccine. So just stay inside until then. We can all do that, right? And we'll go, yeah, we can do that. And like, even if there's not, just say that. And then like, just figure it out on September 30th. If they don't happen to have one, just be like, look, we lied, but you all stayed home for a while, and we didn't know what else to do. So I think that neutralizes things as much as it is. So go ahead and, go ahead and pout about us if you want. Did you have a better plan? Do you have a better plan? How are you going to get Texans to wear masks, people? Huh? I'm all yours. Go ahead. Yeah. What are you going to... Oh, yeah, I know what you ought to do. You ought to tweet about it. Get on that app that they hate and just scold them. Give them a good scolding. That ought to do it. That's what I would be if I were president. I would just taunt people. Like, I would just... like, anytime anyone had a problem with my leadership, I would just stand up from the Oval Office desk and be like, yeah, you want to give it a shot? Huh? No, tough guy? You want to, Yeah, so Russians, they got bounties on American soldiers. You wanna shoot a drone strike at that nuclear power? Do you? Oh, you don't? Get the fuck out of my office. They just walk away like, geez, I'm sorry. Just scold Americans like a bad cat, so they just slink away and go, I'll be good. So, here we are in the city of Los Angleface, and yeah, I did a little bit of a naughty the other day, you guys. I went and hung out at my friend Lara's house, helped her set up her desk and hung out in her new apartment, and we stayed socially distant and wore masks when appropriate. But we had a lovely dinner together, and we hung out for like 5 hours, which is, felt so wonderful to be around people again. And, yeah, the idea that I, like, feel comfortable just hanging out with people and talking about my feelings for 5 hours is kind of a big deal for me, you guys. That was not something I could do when I was living as a guy. And, yeah, felt good. I cried a little bit when we were talking about something, and that felt good to be able to be myself in front of people. And, I think it's all going really well for me. What I've been dealing with emotionally is, dealing with a lot of stuff about money and prosperity lately. 'Cause I see no reason to give up on being prosperous and living an abundant life right now. COVID is no reason to give up on that. No reason at all. And, some of the emotional blockages I have to stuff like that, you guys, is, I heard a friend of mine say one time that money is a symbol of relationships. I feel like I've said this before. I'm sorry, you guys, if I have. But it just means, like, yeah, and I thought that was a really insightful thing, because, like, It is, in that, like, money is a symbol of relationships. If I sell tomatoes and you buy a tomato, we exchange something important, and I have a relationship with you, in a way. And, I have been really struggling with the idea lately. I have an old belief, probably from when I was really little. I grew up in a not safe place and time to be trans. And I really believed for a long time that I was running on this belief that if people saw who I really was, they would kill me. Like, I was literally scared for my life. And a long time, the way I dealt with that was just be a fake person. Be Joe. Now that I'm actually very here in life, I feel very raw, and I feel very real, and I feel very present, and it's just been difficult. Because I had to really face the fact that I was carrying around that, like, toddler's fear, still, as an adult. And luckily, from taking risks and being visible and being around among people, it just feels less true every day, because, the more, like, I drove up to Montana, I had a great time in Montana, being a recently starting to transition trans girl looking like me, and I've had a great time, and everyone was sweet. And, yeah, so when my brain starts telling me they're gonna kill you, it's so much harder to, it just feels more ridiculous with all this evidence I have now. However, when I'm out in life, and, I'm not entirely sure how okay that is, and gotta stay 6 feet separated from people anyway, because, 25-year-olds are dropping dead of this freaking thing. It's very easy for me, like, if I believed, I can be in my mind like, no, this has nothing to do with me being trans, it has everything to do with COVID, don't worry about it. If I were just like, if I were living in the belief that if people see me, they'll kill me because I'm trans, I would act the way COVID precautions tell you to act. So it's fucky, I'm saying, out there for me. In this particular way, that is. And, but I think what's important to do, the way I get evidence that I can be in life and be prosperous and abundant is, by being out in life. And it's a challenge to be out in life. So it's hard to get my evidence against the bad things my brain tells me. And I think, I pray for ways to challenge that more and more. But I think what I can do right now is be very kind to myself. And go, yeah, girl, I understand. I understand why this is hard for you. I understand why you have that old belief. I understand why it's hard to let go, because your brain tells you it's a matter of life and death, even though you kind of know even though you can know intellectually that it isn't. It's dug in very emotional grooves where you think the consequences are fatal, literally. So I understand why that's tough for you, girl. And you're very brave, Fifi, at challenging that belief. But it's difficult to do that right now, for everybody. So that's what I can do for myself. That's what I can do. And another, excuse me, another thing I can do is stop struggling. I'm learning that struggling is its own kind of drug. It takes me out of life, it takes me out of my body, it takes me out of being in the world and receiving its goodness. I try not to do so much stuff in a day, because if I am always running with I don't have a minute to spare, I'm always like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta run, I gotta record the podcast, I gotta call my friend, I gotta, when I jam too much stuff to do in a day, I'm not receiving any more fruits from it. What I am doing is making it so I don't sit in my own body. I had to stop myself when I was rushing around the other day, being like, do I even feel like a girl right now? Do I feel feminine at all? And I had to answer no. And it wasn't like I felt like a boy. I didn't feel like anything. Just a knot of stress. Like they say, being a human doing instead of a human being. Well, and I think the reason I do that, when I do that, that means I'm operating under the belief that life could never be good. Or I could never be good. Because if I'm just in my body, being a girl, feeling myself, having a good time, enjoying my day, then that just what that tells me is that I must believe, well, hey, you're just lazy and worthless and you'll never do anything you need to do, and you'll ruin it. If you just be you, Fifi, you'll ruin everything. Because you're incompetent and you're weak and lazy. But if I believed I'm capable and smart and responsible and brave, then I can just be myself, and I will just, as an extension of being myself, not into a tyrannizing of myself, I will do those things. Or, when I'm rushing around, I would have to be operating under the belief that life would never do anything good for me. That if I didn't control everything and I didn't yank every bit of goodness out of the air myself, life would just, anything I let go of, life would just take away and destroy. And I've found when I believe that the world is ugly and bad and hostile, my world becomes ugly and bad and hostile. And I don't want that. I did that for a long time. It didn't protect me from anything. It did not protect me from being hurt. It ensured that I would be hurt. And I get to be those things now. I don't have to earn them. I don't have to earn the right to feel like a girly girl. I don't have to earn the right to feel abundant in life, and I don't have to earn the right to be free. Sometimes I feel like some of the things I got going on in my head, it's like I'm in a jail cell, and there's like a lock I'm struggling and frantically trying to pick at and open. Meanwhile, the door is open. And I could just walk out of the door, but I'm like, no, I gotta do this, and on some level I know I can't. I know I'll never unlock it. And I know I could just walk out the door. But part of me is scared too, because of things I've believed about the world, but they don't help me. Maybe they did. They definitely don't now. So if I want to feel girly, I can. And by the way, I remember the last episode I was feeling sad about how I look, and I just want everyone to know, I'm looking at my reflection in this, and I'm like, I really like the way I look today. I feel like my face is coming along. I feel good about my shoulders. I feel good. I like how my hair is coming in. That's the thing about curly hair, though. You think it's gonna grow like when you're growing your hair out. Think, oh, just go out. But curly hair goes around and around and around and around and around and around. So you feel like you're going forward, but you're just going around and around. Kinda like life, man. But yeah, I there've been moments in the last week or so where I felt like, God, I just feel, and I'm sure, most people in the world feel this way, where I just say, like, I feel stuck. I'm tired of being stuck. I just want to get out. I just want to break out. I'm tired of feeling in this little box. But, I think, look, COVID is doing some real world things, obviously, but I feel like stuck is, to me, it's in my head more than anywhere else. Because you know what? There have been times in my life where I had a ton of money coming in. I had very few responsibilities through my time, and I had all the money and time to be free and to do anywhere I wanted, and to go or do anything, and I still felt stuck and trapped, and like I'm picking at the lock to my jail cell, and I couldn't walk out the door because I was too scared. So that's that. I hope you guys are all feeling good. If you're not, you can send me a message and we could talk it out. I would like to hear from you, because the people I hear from who listen to this podcast, you guys are just lovely people, and you write me such nice things, and I love that you guys enjoy it. Yeah, and I see no reason why we can't be closer. So feel free to send me a message. I think maybe I'll set some intentions for the, Well, I want to share one more thing real quick. I am in the process of selling a script, trying to sell a script, rather. A friend of mine is producing the project. We're trying to shop it around, get it read, get it funded, get it made. And, I know some famous people who could do that. And, I'm not going to say any names on this podcast, but there was a moment today where I was like, I have such and such's phone number. Why don't I text him and say, hey, I got this script. Me and such are trying to make it. And we want to know if you'd want to help make it with us. And I would have had, before I would have had a very, no, I can't bother people. You do it yourself, Fifi. You go and scrape everything out of the sky yourself. And really the fear behind that is, if people see me, they'll be disgusted by me or hurt me. But I decided, you know what? My work is great. I'm great. My presence is a gift in people's lives. And what a great thing it would be for this person, for someone to be like, hey, I got a project, and I'd want to know if you'd like to be involved. Wouldn't it be great, wouldn't it be great if someone just showed up in your life with a great project we could be a part of? And that's the attitude I want to take. And I'm really proud of myself for walking through the fear of all that and doing it. And I hope whatever little box if fear is keeping anybody out there in a box, I hope you break through it. And I believe that you can, with spiritual energy that's available to you anytime you need it. All you gotta do is say, I want to say all you gotta do is feel worthy to receive it, but all you really gotta do is just say to something, please help me feel worthy to receive it. Or go, I suppose it's possible that I could be worthy to receive it, and that'll get the ball rolling enough. So, I think that's a good episode of Fifi Quest. Love you guys. As always, you want to send me an email at fifiquestpodcast@gmail.com. I'll read your message. If you guys would want to share this podcast around, if you could, if you could give me a rating on Apple, that would really help me out. If you guys could tweet about it, send it to your friends. I would just be so happy if you could all do that. So, yeah. Love you guys very, very much. I'm Fifi Dosch. You have a great weekend, my hot little potatoes.